Oh yeah, the first baptism. I think AJ, I just wanted to drink the juice and eat the cracker.
You sound like me, man.
Welcome to Quadrants of Mental Health. I am your host, Dr. AJ, uh, affectionately known as Dr. AJ Johnson, but you can just call me AJ. I'm good with that.
Hello and welcome to Quadrants of Mental Health. This is your host, AJ, Dr. AJ, coming to you again with another segment. We deal with the mind, the body, the spirit, and finances. Today, we're going to have a spiritual conversation with a good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for about 12 years. We just figured out how long we've been knowing each other. Um, and he's a part of our men's Bible study group. And I, was talking, hadn't seen him in a while in the group, and I wanted him to come on and talk about some things. And then when I connected with him, he said he had written a book. So I said, "Oh yeah, you definitely need to come on and share your journey and your experience." Okay, today it is Terry Davis. Some of y'all may know that name from basketball, the NBA. He's in the league for
10
10
years.
years.
Yeah, 10
10
years.
years.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah, 10 years. So, and his son is in the league now for 12 years. So, Terry, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for
And,
having me,
oh,
AJ.
man, I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
excited to be
excited.
here.
Yes, indeed. Because, when you came a part of our Bible study group, that was me seeing you differently.
Right.
Because everybody knew you as the basketball player, and they said that's Terry Davis. He was in NBA's. So of course, I looked you up.
Sure, sure.
Checked you out a little bit
Right,
because I said, okay, Terry got it going on, and then to find out you're from Virginia
right,
originally.
right.
Where?
Down in Southwest Virginia, small town called Halifax, Virginia.
Halifax, Virginia.
Mhm.
Yes. Born and raised.
Yep, born and raised.
Okay, so what got you to Richmond?
Well, grew up on a small farm down there,
Uh,
and I came here on a basketball scholarship to Virginia Union
right.
through Coach Robbins. He recruited me in high school,
Okay.
and that's how I got to Richmond through Coach Robbins and the scholarship to Virginia Union.
Virginia Union, and from Virginia Union, you went right into the NBA.
Well, I didn't go right into the NBA. It ain't that easy.
Yeah. I know.
But
I know.
nah, by the grace of God, man,
Uh,
I had a great college career, I would say. But even on draft night, I didn't get drafted.
oh, really?
And yeah, went undrafted, and the book kind of shared that and talks
Uh,
about how that night I sat there the whole night and name wasn't called, and it got a little disappointed in myself.
yeah.
And then I kind of asked God, was it because of all the partying and stuff that I was doing in college why
Mm,
I wasn't achieving my goal, but God had other plans for my life,
right.
and that's what I realized by not getting drafted. The Miami Heat came in and offered me a position to come into a free agent camp and try out for the team.
Oh, wow.
And what me and my agent realized was I could have had got drafted for a team that really didn't have a need for me.
Mm,
But Miami, they said they didn't want me, but they really had a need for me. And
right.
that was just by the grace of God that I got the
Right.
opportunity to go in there free agent and make the team.
And make the team.
Yeah.
Show them what you can do.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
Look,
So, being in NBA, people, a lot of kids say, I want to be a pro basketball player. But, that's a one in a million shot anyway.
yeah.
I mean, not everybody make it to the NBA. So you made it there, and you were there for 10 years. Is that a pretty standard career time? 10 years, or do players play longer than 10 years?
No, I would say 10 years is, what they call you're a veteran in the league by that
Yeah,
time, by 10
yeah,
years.
yeah.
They say the longevity in the business is like 3 years. Most guys
Hmm.
don't make it past 3 years,
Oh, wow.
and then 10 years is kind of the max on the pension and the retirement also.
Oh, okay,
And so
okay. And you played for a couple of different teams as well. You started with the Magic, and where else did you play?
yeah, started in Miami, and then I went to Dallas and played there for 5 years, and then I went on to Washington, played there for 2 years, and finished up in Denver my last year.
Oh, really?
And AJ, it's amazing that I retired after my 7th year playing in the NBA. And I was at home here working out with Ben Wallace at Virginia Union's gym.
I remember him.
And Ben was going back as a rookie to play with the Wizards.
Right.
And one of their big guys, George Mearson, had got hurt. And so Wes Unseld, the general manager at the time, had spoken to Ben, and Ben had told him that I was back in Richmond and working him out, and I was in pretty good shape. And so Wes offered me to come to DC and play, and had a 2-year deal on the table. I said, Wes, I'll be on 95 in 5 minutes. And so I'm saying all that to say, hey,
look at God.
Yeah, 2 years, and the same thing happened in the last year. In Denver, I had a friend of mine, a teammate, that I played with in Dallas, George McLeod. He was at Denver at the time. He called me, same thing, said, Terry, come on, play in Denver. I said, George, I'm not coming to no cold Denver, man. Ain't nothing out there.
Right.
But he was persistent on me coming, and that gave me 10 years.
Wow.
And I'm saying all that to say the last 3 years, it was nothing but God just opening up a door that I couldn't even imagine relationships that I had built. And like I said, when I got the pension package a couple years ago, in there it showed that if you had been in the league 10 years or better, not only covers you, but it covers your family.
What?
And so I just started crying, man, because it showed how good God is.
God,
like Jeremiah 20:11, the plan that He has for your life.
You don't know.
You just never know.
Never know, man. But you got to be willing and obedient.
That's it.
You know? So I'm glad you went to Denver.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing, you know. And, you know, when I met you, you were working out at American Family on Brook Road.
Sure.
And I met Ben there as well. I used to see him in there all the time, too. I tried to get him. I was doing a show on public access.
Okay.
Back then, I tried to get Ben to come on and be a guest on my show, but, you know, he was in and out of town a lot. Do you know where he is now?
Yeah, actually, got the opportunity to spend some time with him at CIAA a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And he's back in Detroit.
Back home.
Yeah, back in Detroit.
Okay. I thought he was going to make Richmond his home at one time. That's why.
Yeah, he was. He was here for a while, but he went back, and he's doing some things with the Pistons, and you know, he's back into basketball. And
really?
Yeah.
He's not playing, though?
No, he's doing some, I think, player development stuff for the players.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he looks good. So me and him and Oakley was down in Seattle last weekend. I had a great time. Great seeing all of them.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, and now, you know, like I said, when I met you back then, your son was in high school.
Right.
And that's what we used to talk about, your son and making that transition to college and which college he was going to. And now he's in the NBA.
Sure.
And it's been 12 years.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing, man.
Oh, man.
Generation.
Oh, man. It's nothing but the grace of God. And I have to say that when I look back at it, I just think it's my grandmother's obedience and her faithfulness to God. And kind of like you said to Abraham, you know, He will bless your kids because of her obedience.
Yeah, you do.
And I think we're just a product of my grandparents' obedience and how they just passed that down to us. And passed it down to me just to believe and trust in Christ. And then I just try to pass it down to my son.
Pass it down.
Be obedient. God will bless.
There it is, man. God right there, you know. So you wrote a book. I was trying to save it, but I'm kind of excited myself because you wrote a book called The Second Baptism.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the first baptism. Why is it called the second? Was there a first baptism?
Oh, yeah, the first baptism. I think, AJ, I just wanted to drink the juice and eat the cracker.
You sound like me, man. How old were you when that happened?
9 years old.
I was 11.
Yeah, and I knew you couldn't be baptized until you get the juice and crackers.
Right.
But
I did the same thing at 11.
Yeah, you know, I knew early on that, you know, my parents, you know, they instilled Christ, and I know Christ died on the cross and died for my sins. The church was mandatory, but I really didn't know the meaning of baptism and didn't understand it until 5 years ago. And I realized when I had looked back over my life and seen, you know, all the things I had been through, especially being a sinner in the life that I was living in, and I just saw how God protected me and He kept me. And
now I'm gonna slow you down a little bit because you said It sounded like you said center, like in basketball, but you said center. You're a center in basketball, or you talking about a center?
What?
You said being a center.
Right.
Okay, you talking about being a
center? No, center.
Right,
S-I-N-A-E-R-S. No, center.
Right. The center, like you
no,
were the basketball team. I just wanted to make sure.
No, I want to get that straight too.
Right.
No, I was a center.
So you know that.
No, I was in the Devil's Kingdom.
Yeah, you go.
That's where I was.
I
wasn't living for me. I was living for me. I wasn't living for God. And that's where I was at. And that's what I realized in my reflection 5 years ago, that I had to stop living for Terry and really start living for God and living for my calling and to my purpose that God had for me.
Amen to that. And today's show is about the spiritual walk, spirituality, because we talk about mind, body, spirit, and finances here. And like I said, from you being in our Bible study group and you writing the book, I thought it would be great to have you come on and talk about the spiritual walk, the spiritual journey, and the transformation that you've gone through, over the last 5 years. Because, I remember you in the Bible study group, Terry is going to talk about grandma.
Right.
He brought up, if he's going to tell us a story or something, he's going to remind us, grandma.
Praise God.
And that's awesome, man. And then she's the inspiration for your book, man. That's a powerful relationship you had. Tell me a little bit about your mother and father. Where were they at?
Well, my mother and father has always been in my life and been in my picture. Been in the picture. My mom, I talk about her in the book, and my dad, I talk about it. Both of them just love the Lord, love Christ, instilled them in my life early on, and just come from humble beginnings, just like I did.
Yeah.
And both of them are one of 13 kids.
Both of them?
Both of them.
One of 13?
One of 13 kids.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, so there's so much love on both sides.
That's a huge family, man.
Of all the uncles.
You got a lot of first cousins.
Well, it's when the Bible talks about raising a village.
Yeah.
AJ, I was really raised by a village of folks, man.
And grandma, I see them. I see the significance of grandma there, man.
Well, she the head of it. She the foundation of it, man. That's why I talk about grandma so much, because she instilled it into my parents, and they instilled it into me. So that's why grandma is the whole matriarch to the family, man, and the situation, man.
That's incredible.
And we saw her walk and her faith and her belief in God. And we say, I always say, Grandma, you knew the prehistorical Jesus, Jesus that I would never know, because, you had to call on God where we don't really have to call on, well.
So you thought that?
Yeah, I thought that, right. And that's what I saw. But I saw that God, he answered her prayers.
Yes.
And when she called on him, God responded to Grandma. And like I said, just seeing her grow up, seeing me growing up, seeing Grandma and her love for the Lord
and being effective in her prayer life.
Oh, man. What did I say? You always say in Bible study, the fervent prayer of the righteous.
Fervent prayer of the righteous. Yeah.
Availeth much. And,
there it is.
And that's what Grandma was, and that's what we saw. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
She didn't just walk it. She didn't just talk it. She walked the walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
So that's the journey. So the first baptism was, I just want to get these crackers and juice.
Yeah, that's the ritual thing to do.
Yeah,
they know to baptize you at 9 years old. Around that age, 9 and 12. And and I knew that was the thing that I was supposed to do at that age, and so we're gonna be obedient and get baptized.
Right.
Do the right thing, or you gonna get a belt behind you if you don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had great aunts would come up on there. Oh yeah, they back then, it didn't matter whose child you was.
No,
if you stepped out of line, you was going to get it from somebody.
Corrected. Yes, sir.
From somebody. It didn't matter. No. Oh, man, I remember those days. So we're going to continue on in the conversation, but we're going to take a little break and come back and talk more about the second half. I'll say the second baptism and where you are now, and then where you think God's going to take you, because your life I would say based on grandma's prayers, mom and dad's prayers, have gotten you to where you are now.
Sure.
You know, and kept you safe and kept you out of danger. Was able to give you a 10-year career.
Sure.
You know, of course, you had to do the work. You know,
Right.
your faith is in there too. I'm not going to negate that, but you know, sometimes we got to remember who came before us.
Definitely.
And what I'm hearing from you more than anything, Terry, is this, because a lot of times we talk about a legacy, you know, or an inheritance. Your grandmother later left you an inheritance
Yes.
of Christ.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yeah. Well,
that's an inheritance.
what you know. That's what the book is kind of about. That I want to leave that for my grandkids.
There you go.
know what
How
I
many
mean?
grandchildren do you have?
I have 6.
6.
Yeah. The daughter
Okay.
have 3 and the son have 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 apiece. Yeah.
Oh, well, they're just getting started too. They're young still, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. They just getting the juice in the crackers.
They might get a little more. You never know, man.
Yeah, they gonna get the meat.
Yes,
They gonna
sir.
get I'm gonna get
That's
the meat in
awesome,
before I leave
man.
here
That's
for sure.
awesome. Yes.
sir.
So we'll be back.
Okay.
And just hanging in with us, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.